It's Chris.
And Emily, the book Cougars. We're socially distancing, and so we are having a couch biblio adventure together via Skype.
Yeah. We just thought we'd check in too with everybody and just see how you're doing and say hello.
Times have changed. Typically, Chris and I would see each other during the week, having either library time or going on some version of a biblio adventure, and we're all socially distancing and keeping safe while the coronavirus passes through.
Yeah.
And hopefully keeps passing.
Yeah, boy. And at times it just changed so quickly, didn't it?
It really did.
Yeah. So there were a couple things that have changed too, regarding ebooks that we just wanted to tell people about too. I know Macmillan ended their ebook embargo, so their ebooks will be more readily available and at who knows what prices. I don't know about that. But then also Scribd, which is an app that you can use on your phone or your iPad, announced that they're doing a 30-day free trial where you don't have to enter a credit card or anything. And that is books and audiobooks and also magazines, I believe, as well as sheet music, which I thought was pretty cool. Yeah.
I have never looked at Scribd, so
yeah,
I did
get the I had actually downloaded a trial version already that I activated, and so I am playing around with that a little bit. And then the other thing was our local library, the Guilford Free Library here in Connecticut, they sent out an email saying that they're putting more money into their online holdings, meaning ebooks, audiobooks, and things like that. So there'll be more copies of certain books available, and then hopefully, maybe a bigger variety of books as well. So we just wanted to encourage you to check in with your library online to see if maybe they're able to do something like that as well.
Right. It's funny. I was mentioning that to my daughter, who's 28. And, I've been reading statistics about how the younger generation doesn't want to use e-readers because they've been raised and spend so much time on their screens that they still really think of reading as something they want to do on the old-fashioned way with paper.
Right. Yeah.
And so I mentioned to her yesterday because she got the word that the library was closing in Ohio and went and got like 5 books out, but she's down to having about 2 now to read. And I said, maybe it's time for you to get an e-reader. And she said, I have absolutely no desire to read books that way.
Yeah.
So I just went online to Bank Square Books, which is we have a affiliation with them, the Cougars, and I ordered her a couple real old-fashioned books.
Good.
So I did want to let people know that a lot of bookstores, even though they've closed their doors, they are doing online ordering and even curbside delivery. I know, Chris, you were going around doing that to a couple different bookstores.
I did. Yeah, I had a book on order already at the Wesleyan R.J. Julia bookstore up in Middletown. And so I did go and pick that up curbside, but that had been ordered before all of this started. And then I did order a book from R.J. Julia in Madison, which is fun because I pulled up and I'm parked in front and I watched the woman answer the phone as I called. So we were talking and I said, I should let you know I'm right out here in my car looking at you. So we waved, which was fun. And then I also did order a book from Breakwater Books, our local store here.
Nice.
And I picked that one up. So, and that book is one called The Deep, which just came out from Katsu. I can't remember her first name. But she's the one who wrote the book called The Hunger that I read last year, 2 years ago, about the Oregon Trail, the Donner Party, evil spirits kind of thing. So The Deep, which I just picked up, I haven't started it yet, deals with the Titanic and spirits in the water and stuff. So I'm kind of into like horror, psychological suspense right now.
Yeah, page turners. I've noticed that myself, that's a way to, because you kind of need something to grip you out of, an already gripping reality, I guess.
Right. Yeah. And I don't really want to read stuff about like pandemics or, I know a lot of people are recommending like Station 11,
Yeah.
And I'm like, I do want to read that novel, but now it's not a good time.
No, I don't think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't recommend it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, but just a reminder that bookstores, we can be helping small businesses in that way by ordering. And Bank Square Books has free media mail, so the shipping doesn't cost anything. You just need to place your order. So I'm excited, and hopefully I ordered my daughter 2 books she hasn't read. We'll see.
Right. Yeah. Good. I know. So what are you reading, or what have you just read?
Well, I decided to, shop on my own shelves, and I just finished this book by Elizabeth McCracken, The Giant's House. And I got this at that newish now used bookstore in New Haven. Is it called Gray Matter? Is that right?
Yeah, Gray Matter.
Yeah. And I've always wanted to read Elizabeth McCracken, and this is serious backlist. This came out in 1996, and it was a book that was up for the National Book Award, and I loved it. And for any of you librarians out there, the main character is a librarian. She's the narrator of the book, and it takes place in Cape Cod, which I seem to be having a love affair lately with books that take place there. But they're year-rounders who live on Cape Cod. She's the librarian for the local public library, and there's a young boy in the town who has, I never know how to say this word, but he's a giant. He has a pituitary gland gone wild, and he eventually grows at his full height to be 8'5".
Wow. I can't imagine.
Yeah. Or 8.5 feet. I think he's 8.5 feet.
Oh.
So anyway, it's about their relationship with each other, what his life is like, his desire to learn by going to the library, which is how they first encounter each other. And Elizabeth McCracken's writing is phenomenal. And interestingly, I always love to read the acknowledgments in the back, and she thanks Anne Patchett for reading and rereading and reading and rereading the manuscript. And then when I was doing some research on Elizabeth McCracken, I came to find out that she was, I don't know if she still is, but she was Anne Patchett's editor. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, the tables turned.
Yeah. And I guess Elizabeth McCracken also was a librarian originally in before she became an editor and more in the book world. So it's kind of a narrow novel. It was like 250 pages, but I really plowed through it and highly recommend it. And now do want to read more from her. So
very cool.
What about you?
I just finished one. You see that? The Woman in the Dark by Vanessa Savage, who is a Welsh writer. This is a book I read for the Wales Readathon, which I have to say has kept me reading. When all of the social distancing started happening and stuff, I did have a couple days where I was a little anxiety ridden, like hard time settling down to focus on things. Spent too much time on my phone looking at the news. But then, knowing that I was doing the Wales Readathon really helped me, okay, yeah, this is the next book I'm picking up. I don't have to think about anything. So I picked it up. I had ordered it from the Book Depository. It is a psychological family, slightly horror-ish story. It's about a couple. They have 2 kids. The woman, the wife, heterosexual couple, I should say. The wife has been having some psychological issues after her mom died. And her husband has always wanted to live in this seaside town in the house that he grew up in that was perfect. But after his parents lost the house, the second family that moved in, there was a mass murder there. 3 of the 4 family members were murdered. So the house has been empty for 15 years when they decide to go and live there, to buy the house and make it a perfect home. And of course, like the Amityville Horror and every other bad house, where people move in after there's been a series of murders, things don't turn out well. It's kind of a thickish book. It was, almost 400 pages. I believe it was Vanessa's first novel. And I think I can say, I really like the story. And the writing, though, was a little repetitious, I have to say. But it's a psychological drama. So I know with some of those, the writers tend to kind of like really kind of repeat what's going on to help build the tension. I think that happened in Gone Girl. I don't really remember. That was a novel I did not like.
Oh, so really?
I didn't like Gone Girl. Yeah. But I did enjoy this one. I read it in just a few days, and I wanted to see what happened. And I think, like, for it being her first novel, I think she did a great job of maintaining, the pacing and the voices of the characters and everything. So slightly creepy, psychological, edgy, couples behaving badly. I think one of the things about these kinds of books, I think it does rely on people being stereotypical heterosexual couples where they don't really communicate, where, they're trying to fulfill roles. And so they don't really communicate about how they're truly feeling about things. I think, So
a little tropey, it sounds like.
Tropey, yeah, a little bit, but I still enjoyed it. And I liked what she did. Like, there were a couple times, like, I always keep notes, like who I think done it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So the person who I thought did it, there are two people who I thought did it, and neither one of them did it in the end, but I enjoyed it. Yeah. So
I also read a page turner, and the author is the editor. The right word? He owns, I don't know, Polis Books.
Oh,
the Jason Pinter.
Uh-huh.
Because Polis Books, to remind listeners, is the publisher who published Heather Harper Elliot's book.
Ain't Nobody Nobody.
Yeah.
Such a good book.
Yeah. And this book is called Hideaway, which is not his first book. He's got many books out, but it's his first book in a new series. With a protagonist named Rachel Marin, who turns out to be this total badass single mom. So I loved it. It was an absolute page turner. And the book starts with this woman. She's like, stay-at-home mom with I think a 7-year-old and a new baby. And both her son and her husband are late getting home, and she's sitting, like, having prepared dinner, pissed off that everybody's late for dinner. And then her son, all of a sudden she hears her son arrive home, and he's just screaming on the front porch. And there's a bloody bag on the front porch.
Oops.
I mean, this is not a spoiler because it's the very beginning of the book. Turns out to be her husband. Yeah.
Wow.
And so
must have been a big bag.
And you don't really know, like, anything more than that until towards the very end of the book, like how husband ended up in a bag on the porch. But she ends up, like, becoming this badass, fit, can defend herself and her children from anything woman, and gets involved in a murder case. And she kind of pesters the police who are involved in this murder case. And I loved it. Total page turner. Exactly what you're talking about, too. Like, I just needed something that was complete escape and kind of gross, but in a good way.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Like, I like the kind of creepy house thing, too, which was going on in the book I just mentioned, with the. Yeah. Cool. Well, I did
kind of like, you're not sure what's happening around every corner,
Right. Yeah. And you kind of want to, with my characters, I kind of wanted to slap her a little bit a couple times, like, wake up, which is part of the thing that people are saying to her, like, wake up. But it's all part of what's going on in the novel.
Okay.
That you don't really realize at first, although you might suspect things, But I have to say, I was a little jealous of the characters too, like, because they're going out for coffee and going out to dinner, and I'm like, oh, isn't that nice?
Yeah.
You might be living in a haunted house and your marriage is falling apart, but you can still go out for coffee.
Your library's still open.
Right. Oh, man.
So, what are you reading now?
Well, now I just started last night. It's a book that's coming out Murder at Mena House.
Mm.
Mena House, I believe that's how you say it. It's by Erica Ruth Newbar. Hold it up for people.
I've never heard of it.
Yeah, this one's coming out March 31st. So next week. It's a book I'm got through Criminal Element. So it takes place in like the 1920s Egypt, post World War I. One of my favorite mystery series of all times is the Elizabeth Peabody series, which is about a woman archaeologist. Well, she's married to an archaeologist, British woman though, and that's like late 19th century, early 20th century. This book, which I believe is part of a series, is about an American woman.
Okay.
Her mom was British, or English, I should say. Her mom was English. I guess her dad was American. And they're dead. Her husband died in World War I. She's still pretty young, but her aunt is trying to get her married. And they live in the Boston area, but this is set in Egypt, near the pyramids. And I'm just a few chapters in, but I read until I couldn't keep my eyes open anymore last night, and I look forward to getting back into it tonight.
Oh, good.
Yeah. It's a cozy, I should add, too.
Oh,
which
nice.
is a good, so like after reading the heavy duty bloody book, it's nice to come and read a cozy where I know things might get serious, but there's not going to be tons of, blood and torture and things like that.
Yeah, it's good to have a break every once in a while.
Yeah.
I'm still making my way through.
Cool.
Maybe You Should Talk to Someone, which we both have talked about now on various episodes, but I've been listening to it and reading it, and I have to say, I just love it. I'm in no rush for it to be over.
Good.
Now I kind of feel like she's an old friend,
Right,
so I just want to read a little chapter at a time or listen to a chapter at a time. So I'm enjoying that.
Very cool.
And then I'm excited today to think about what my next fiction is going to be. I'm going to search the house and my Kindle and see what I come up with.
All right. Sounds like a good plan.
Well, we miss seeing each other. We miss all of you. And, we're out there on social media. We've been posting our links to some of our old episodes where we interviewed various authors, and feel free to go back in our archives and have a little couch biblio adventure of your own. Yeah,
we're using the hashtag couch biblio adventure just to kind of keep track of those archival episodes that we're posting, because we don't tend to reshare our old episodes as a regular thing, but we thought it might be good to do it during this time too, just to help also get some of those authors' names out there as well. Yeah. So everybody, we'll be back. We'll be recording an episode this coming Friday. So next Tuesday, is that the 31st of March?
It is.
There'll be a new episode on the podcast. And in the meantime, happy reading to you all. Take care.
Yes. I ditto everything Chris just said.